Game Boyz news. I'm Pat.
I'm Bowman. Thanks for tuning in. The sun has officially set for the Nintendo Wii U system. Well, rumor has it anyway that the system is currently on life support, and Nintendo has signed the DNR and is going to pull the plug by the end of this year on production. Now, the Nintendo Wii U hasn't really had the best life cycle, has it, Pat?
No, it hasn't. I'm not sure if Nintendo made money on this system a single year. The lack of third-party support just killed the system. I mean, they've got some great first-party games, but it's just not enough. And, it's been out for a few years now. It's not popular. It's not making money, and they just have to kind of give up on it and move on.
I agree completely. I really think this is probably the smartest business move they can make from this point on. The production, they have plenty of stockpile, and with the demand this system has, they have plenty of systems still left. They're going to have plenty to sell until 2017, I'm sure. And this isn't like the old days anymore. You can't keep producing the same exact console for so long anymore. The market has changed. People want the latest and greatest right away now.
That's right. Well, in other news, speaking of latest and greatest, the virtual reality headset Oculus Rift launched yesterday. Finally, you can be whisked away to a wonderland where you can have all the sex you want with your 2D anime waifus and be taken away from this terrible planet. Bowman, what's your thoughts on virtual reality?
Well, I don't know what to make of it just yet because I don't think I'm going to have the money to throw down on a device like this. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is something that I've wanted since I was a child, and it finally feels like, as a techie and a gamer, that the future is finally here. I'm excited. I have a PC ready to play it. I just need the headset, and yeah, I can't wait.
It's just the price points is what getting to me, but if it's successful, the price will naturally go down and it'll become more into the mainstream. But what do you feel about the negative aspects of virtual reality, such as disconnecting our society further?
Well, I think that social media has done a poor job of kind of separating us on a personal level, and I think that this could actually add to that. But I think the long-term benefits of being able to visit a family member from across the world and essentially being in the same room with them without having to fly there, it's more personal than Skype. I think that in the long run could outweigh the negatives.
I think it's just going to be really interesting since this is the first of many systems that are being released. So
that's right.
We're almost in a brand new age of gaming where companies are developing multiple hardware. So it could very well fail.
Yeah, it could. I think that there's enough support behind it, though, and people have been waiting long enough. It's just a matter of time. Even if this generation fails, there'll be something else that comes out that refines it.
Well, speaking of having to spend more money, Sony's actually working on new ways to dip into your wallet. Rumor has it that a PlayStation 4.5 is rumored to be released with a higher powerful CPU. You'll just need a Wallet 0.5 to pick it up. Now, this sucks.
Yeah, as a gamer, this stuff kind of pisses me off. I bought my PS4 not that long ago. I don't have any plans to buy another PS4. Now, they say that this extra CPU power is just for the VR headset, which is fine, but you always end up with things like the new 3DS where they throw in a few games that you can only play with the new hardware, and it's just upsetting. I have a gaming PC. If that's the way that console gaming is going to go, then I'll just upgrade that myself. Won't cost me as much. I don't have to buy a whole new system, and every game is compatible with it. There's almost no reason to own consoles anymore with the lack of exclusives as it is.
Yeah, it's just really silly to me. I've never seen this work out in the past for any company. Sega tried it out with the 32X, the Sega CD attachment. Nintendo tried it out with the 64DD in Japan. Right. All of those failed. I don't really see why this is going to work out. I just don't. Can you think of a single company that successfully has produced an add-on to a system?
Maybe the Game Boy printer.
Well, that's saying a lot. Speaking of disappointments, didn't you and Snyder check out the new Batman vs. Superman movie?
Yeah, we did actually. I don't remember too much of it because I almost fell asleep, but we got the review up here to watch, so enjoy.
All right, well, we are here, Game Boyz News. We have a special movie review. We just watched Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it might be the most boring action movie I have ever seen in my entire life. So boring that Pat almost fell asleep multiple times, and I just kept wanting it to be over. And there's about 8 different times I thought it was over, and unfortunately, it was not. There is pretty much no character that's ultimately likable outside of the fact that you want to like them because of the actor, not because of the writing. Ben Affleck, case in point. I have really no positive thing to say about the film, and they shoehorn just about every possible thing they can to be cool comic book movie and fail at just about every turn. Pat, what do you think?
I thought this movie was boring as hell. I came in wanting to like the movie. At least, I didn't expect to like it, but I wanted to be entertained. As you said, I almost fell asleep a few times. I thought that Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor was the worst casting decision in the last decade. It was awful. I don't blame him as an actor. I blame the writing and the director mostly. I have a strong feeling that was a Zack Snyder vision. Speaking of Zack Snyder, this movie was very, very much filled with Zack Snyderisms, lots of ham-fistedness, lots of, overarching message that just falls flat. And yeah, there's not a lot to like about this movie. Ben Affleck was decent as Batman, but they took the Batman in the wrong direction most of the movie.
Yep.
So, Snyder, what would you give this movie?
Well, I would agree with the word you said, flat, and I would give it a 1 out of 5, as flat as you can get as far as a score goes. It's just rough stuff.
I give Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, 40 winks.
All right, well, until our next movie review, which hopefully will be of a better film, see you later.
See you next time.
This week in gaming releases, Roller Coaster Tycoon fans will be delighted that the long-awaited Roller Coaster Tycoon World, the 5th installment in the series, I believe, is being released for PC. It'll retail for $49.99, and you can design and share theme parks with your friends.
Also this week, Telltale is releasing a pair of games from their wildly popular Walking Dead and Minecraft Story Mode series. Walking Dead Michonne Episode 2 releases tomorrow for $14.99, and it includes the previous episode as well, and possibly future episodes. Minecraft Story Mode Episode 5 releases on the same day for $24.99, and that includes all previous episodes as well.
Well, speaking of click and point adventure games, I actually got my hands on the new Day of the Tentacle remaster for PC. Here are my thoughts on the game. Day of the Tentacle Remastered is a completely redone game of the famous sequel to Maniac Mansion. Bernard and his friends Hoagie and Laverne return to the Edison Mansion after receiving word from his friend Green Tentacle that Purple Tentacle has turned into an insane genius, and that Dr. Edison plans to kill them both. Bernard foolishly sets them both free, allowing Purple Tentacle to move forward with his plan to take over the world. Dr. Edison suggests going back in time to prevent Purple Tentacle from ever becoming evil by using his time machine invention, the Chronogens. The time machine fails and ends up leaving Hoagie trapped 200 years in the past and Laverne trapped 200 years in the future. All 3 characters must find a way to fix their time machines so they can prevent Purple Tentacle from ever drinking the toxic sludge which made him evil in the first place. The gameplay is very familiar if you've played any of the classic LucasArts click-and-point adventure games, such as Monkey Island or Sam & Max. The gimmick with this one is that you control 3 characters. Previously, if you wanted to play this game, you had to emulate it on Scum or just generally have the technical know-how to boot up an old game like this. After all, the game is 23 years old. Now you can play it in its original pixelated glory, or you can play it completely remastered. The game's animation was completely redone using all the original source material. The game is gorgeous, and they were even able to make the game widescreen by using original concept paintings. Even all the audio is dug up, completely recaptured, so the voice acting can be heard without hearing any of the compressed, scratchy sound fans of the original game are familiar with. They even reworked the previously tedious verb system, which works great. Now if I want to interact with an object on screen, I simply click on it and the verbs will stem from a concise, easy to navigate menu. If for some reason you missed that mass of verbs on the bottom of the screen, they give you that option to have that as well. Just like the Grim Fandango Remastered release, you can also turn on developer commentary. To enjoy, creators from the original game talk about the original development while you're playing. As far as gameplay goes, I may be biased since this is a childhood favorite of mine, but it aged incredibly well. The puzzles still stumped me even when I already had an idea of what to do, since I beat this game multiple times in the past. If you're even slightly interested in exploring click-and-point adventure games, I recommend this game. The puzzles are very challenging, and you really need to think outside the box to overcome even the simplest obstacles, such as the many steps you must take before getting a dime stuck on the floor. Also, you do need to think about your actions with each character, as they will affect each character's timeline. Even when I was having difficulty solving a puzzle, just the dialogue alone and the humor of this game kept me going. Each character has a very distinct personality, which almost makes the game always feel new while you're navigating through each character's perspective to move on. Oh, yes, if you are a fan of the original, you'll be happy to know that Maniac Mansion is still included within this game. Today in gaming history, 14 years ago today, released for the Sony PlayStation 2 and Windows, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? 2nd edition was released in France.
You know, Bowman, I can hardly contain myself when talking about this game. I remember as a kid, I was a millionaire freak. I used to re-watch VHS tapes that I recorded of millionaire reruns and kind of just craft my image of Regis Philbin.
Millionaire has been everything to me. When I was a child, I would go to MGM Studios every day just to see the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire play-it show. Then Disney shut it down. Boom, never been to Disney again. But Who Wants to Be a Millionaire 2nd edition, in my PS2, it filled that $1 million hole in my chest.
Yeah, I remember I owned the 1st edition and it was alright, but when I took that 2nd edition home and opened up that case and slid that 2nd edition disc into my PS2 and pressed the power button, it completely blew my socks off. It improved over the 1st edition in every possible aspect that you could. And frankly, there's just no reason to ever play that 1st edition again.
Oh, absolutely. With the 2nd edition, you actually feel like you're in the hot seat. When I finally won that $1 million, I tried to pull it out of the screen. I was so convinced.
You won the mill?
I won the mill.
Nice. Well, my love of this game really comes from a moment I remember in my childhood. I was sitting in my old Pep's lap, and we were watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on TV. And I remember looking up at old Pep and saying, "Can I change my name to Regis Philbin?" And he said, "No, Pat. You have to be your own man." And really that moment is kind of what crafted me into who I am today.
Such a touching moment. Well, there's no better way to end this. So, this has been Game Boyz News. I'm Bowman.
I'm Pat, and until next time, we'll see you.
That was a really touching story about me.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you want to go play some Who Wants to Be a Millionaire 2nd edition right now?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Alright, I don't have the French edition.
You know the French edition? What do you have?
I have the American edition.
Oh, fuck. Is it the same? Does
I
it
don't
have
know.
the same, like, French history questions in French?
You know, I couldn't read them when I played it in French, so...
Well, I guess, I actually can't read French at all, so
Yeah, me either.
this might work out better for us.
Alright, cool.